I can hear myself through my headphones. Yes, man. Like, I feel real good about this right now.
Pay attention, because you are now listening to Permission to Speak Freely. We didn't go to the other one because of they went out. They was going out there, and then COVID hit the ship out there, and Michael Murphy, so they didn't go.
How'd that work out for you though?
Good. It worked out for me.
You went there for both days?
No, I went to the. No. We had two ships, but I went on one of them. Rafael Peralta, they went on. Yeah, my little group went on the Higgins. Yeah.
So you did the underway and then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Came back the same day.
We recording, we rolling. Man.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, we just
just talking it up, chatting it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. First off, man, I it's hard not to get a world of shout out, man. You know, we went online, we got on all the mainstream, last week. So we got to get some shots out, man.
Yeah. Shout out to all our listeners in the US, California, Philly, Virginia. We got listeners in Florida. We got listeners in Brazil. We got listeners in Japan. So shout out to all of our listeners. Shout out to the YouTube viewers.
So, you named out all these places, you named all these states and stuff, man. So I want to bring some up, man. Like, I'm from Mississippi, and I see you didn't say Mississippi. So, all my homies out there, all my family out there, all my people out there, man, come on, man. Holla at your boy, man. Can somebody out there, share something or, subscribe something or download something or something, Holla at your boy, man. I can't believe when we looked this up, man, and nobody from Mississippi took a look at us, man. Come on now.
Shout out to Philly, all the support, loving it, man. Love you guys. Keep it up, babies. Hey, Mississippi, you'll get there too. I got faith and I trust and I believe in Mississippi. So
let's go, Mississippi, stand up. Let's do this.
Then we also on every social media platform: Twitter, Facebook. We're on YouTube, Instagram at PTSF Podcast. Every social media platform.
And everybody that's taking a look at us, man, make sure you guys share that, man. Subscribe and share it. So, we can get more people listening to us, man.
Yeah. So another thing is we got a lot of people listening to us from a lot of different walks of life. A lot of people listen to us from different businesses and stuff. So I want to give a quick shout out to Still Beach Designs. That's Kelsey and Matt Rivas. And that's at Still Beach Designs on Instagram. You can follow them. I think they got an Etsy page as well. But they've been cranking it out, and that's things that I respect. I respect people that's working hard, cranking it out. And when I'm talking about cranking it out, is she does like stickers, clothes. What else? What's some of the other stuff they do?
Man, they do everything, man. They do everything from cups, clothes, making their own designs. Man, they've been doing this for a while too. So big shouts out to those guys, man. That's somebody that's starting from the bottom and working their way up, and they doing a good job, man. So big shouts out to those guys, man.
She a hustler. Like I think every time we got packages and a different group on our ship was getting different packages from her, different shirts and stuff like that. So that was great. Meanwhile, husband on the ship working, busting his ass. And then we got wife sending out clothes to different ships, different sellers. Even us, the VBSS team got stuff. So real hustler, man. And I respect that all.
Most definitely respect that hustle game.
All right, so the first thing that I'm gonna do, right? We got some questions from listeners, right? So I'm gonna ask you a question from a listener.
Oh, let me get my mind right. Let's do this, man.
We got Frank from New York. So the first listener, the question that they asked was, "What do you do to relieve?" So we talked about stress, right? Sellers going through stuff, and the question, I'm gonna shoot this one over to you. Is what do you do to relieve some of that stress when your sellers say they going through it?
Man, that's a tough question, man. But that question, I feel like is for the individual themselves, right? On what they can dig deep and what they can do. For me, I can talk to you about what I do when it comes to stress. And that comes from working out and me personally, man, it starts and ends with my family, man. So can't nobody on the ship stress me out enough not to want to come home to my family. And that's just the end of it for me, man. Like that's my whole drive is like me going to work every day, putting put my everything into whatever I'm doing at work, and then coming home every day. Like when I come through the house and I see my wife and I see my kids, it's a stress-free zone. You know, like when I go to work every day, it's like, okay, man, we've been doing this for years. I'm gonna get all this stuff done. I'm gonna make sure I'm set up for the next day, and then I'm gonna come home, and then we're gonna do this over and over and over. That's one thing about our job in the Navy. Most of the time, we're doing a lot of the same thing every week. So you can prepare yourself and you can get ready. Yeah, sometimes it's gonna be some long days, but hopefully your leadership has put you in a position to know when you're gonna have those long days leading up to whatever event you got going on. But it's how you deal with stress. And over time, I think people get better at it and get better at it and better on how they're going to deal with it. But again, my environment and how I grew up is a little bit different than everybody else. It's hard to stress me out.
All right, so you get a seller, because we gonna get her question out the way, right? So you get a seller come to you, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, senior, I'm stressed out. I don't know what to do. We got this inspection coming up, but I don't feel like I'm gonna make it through this. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do?
So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna ask, what is stressing you out? Right? I need to know that answer. Like, what is stressing you out? Is it the long hours stressing you out?
The long hours.
So if the long hours stressing you out, what I'm gonna feed to you and what I'm gonna deliver to you is this only gonna be for the next 2 weeks or the next 3 weeks. That's how my driving factor is. We have to get this job done. We signed up for this and we have to do it.
But senior, I don't feel like I got 2 weeks.
Oh, well, I'm sending you to see somebody then. I mean, if you, I'm sending you to medical, I'm sending you to somebody that's going to help you out. And I'm going to have a list of names on lists of people who you can go talk to. We're going to get you help. Trust me, that the stuff that we do on the ship is not bigger than you being around for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
right?
I think, because I think that some of the stuff that we have, like some of those qualities that we have, you got different people. You got some people that like just will do whatever, like to get the job done. Yeah. And I always felt like I fell into that category, not in a negative way, but more in I'm not sleeping until, we know for sure we're going to do this. And then one of the things that I feel like I've done, sometimes wrong was expect that out of other people as well. Yes.
That's a big deal right there, man. You're right. You can't do that. Everyone is not like you. They didn't grow up how you grew up. They didn't do the things that you did to get where you are right now. So people are different. But that's where we as leaders now, we have to adjust and we have to adapt. You have to adapt to the new to sailors, period. If you're not adapting to them, you are failing them in a way. Yeah. Because they are not the same people.
So like we said before, we don't have all the answers. So the thing that, we're going to double down on, point you in the right direction. So that's what we do. Now, if you say you need to go home and beat a drum for a couple, hours or something, all right. I mean, I'm 100% okay with you going home and beating a drum. A lot of people don't think that. A lot of people like, man, I can't just go to Chief and do that. Try it. See what Chief says. I'm 100% okay with you going home and, you need to beat on your car or bust your windows out or do whatever. I'm 100% good with you doing whatever you need to do that's going to get you back to work and have you in the right state of mind.
And the biggest thing also, and the Navy, your ship or whatever is going to keep going. Right? Yeah. Either you being on the ship or you're not being on the ship is not going to stop the Navy. It's not going to stop the ship's mission. Right. So if I'm giving you a couple of hours, if I'm giving you a day, if I'm giving you whatever, we're not going to miss a beat. Yeah. But right? again, I think that some of that stuff is in guys like us or some of those hard chargers who they see us like for instance, like my knee has been injured for like 4 weeks. Right. They see me working through that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And even if I'm not telling anybody else to work through it, it's almost like unsaid, but it's being said like, hey, Chief is working through this knee pain every single day. Like who the fuck am I to tell Chief that I'm going through something when Chief working through this knee pain? Yeah. And that's some of the mistakes that I feel like we make. I need to go get my knee looked at, Yeah. And that's something I'm gonna do tomorrow. I'm gonna go take care of my knee and get my knee looked at. But I think we do that a lot. We create some of those pressures on our sellers by some of the things that we withstand. Yeah, you're right. I mean, same thing happened to me, man. I had was working. We had inspections going on the ship a couple years ago, and I kept going and going. I had this pain in my side. Just kept going and kept working and find out, guess what, man? I got a tumor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could have took a look at that. Could have been looked at that thing a long time ago. But no, man, I feel like, just like you said, man, it's just trying to get stuff done, trying to get to the next thing, man. So with that being said, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
What happened with the tumor? I think it's a funny story in the tumor story, ain't it? I know we couldn't see you. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, hey, can I go see you? They like, nah. They said they were saying you had cancer.
Yeah. So I didn't know all that was being said though, but I do know they didn't want nobody to come see me though, and I didn't even know. I didn't say that.
Yeah,
like that didn't even come from me saying, hey, everybody not to come.
I thought you just had like the hospital robe, but like your ass was out. So
no, it wasn't like that, man. Like, cause the CO came, XO came.
Yeah.
Both docs came at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, like people couldn't, like that's hard when you like, yo, I want to see him. It's other people going to see him, but like everybody couldn't go see you, so it was kind of weird.
Even Paul came. Briones came up there. Like a lot of people came to the hospital. So I don't know where it came from. They couldn't nobody come see me. Yeah. Now the first couple of days, I was in bad shape though. You know what I mean? I was in bad shape. They hooked me up. But the biggest thing about that whole surgery and the whole tumor thing, man, was it was unexpected.
Yeah.
Because you go to the hospital to get one thing and you wake up and something totally different done. You thought you was going there for appendix. Yeah. And then I wake up and a lot more stuff than happened. So that was the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway from it, man. Other than that, man, man, I'm glad they found it and glad they got a hold to it. I'm glad it was cancer free, man. Like that was a big deal because the guy came in there. He told my wife 90% that it was probably cancer.
That's crazy. 90%.
90% it was probably cancer.
And you just working through that pain.
Yeah, I was working through it, man. Getting it in.
I remember I was telling you my chest was hurting around that same time. Yeah. Still to this day, I mean, it feels good now, but still to this day, I never did get it looked at. Yeah. So the next question she asked was, how would we change the stress across the big Navy? And I'm gonna take that one first. Like I said on the previous episode, I just feel like we have a whole lot of priorities. We got way too many priorities and way too many things that we want to be the most important thing that we doing. Whether it's going through an inspection or getting ready for underways or deployments or maintenance or saying that we got training coming up. A lot of these things just kind of checks in the boxes. So I want us to be able to stop with any checks in the boxes. Let's actually drill. Let's actually train. Let's prep sailors to be war fighters and get rid of some of the BS that comes along with being in the Navy. I believe it's a lot of BS and a lot of unnecessary stressors.
Yeah, I think sailors put a lot of stress on themselves, man, just because sometimes, right? And I say that because a lot of times the way I think to relieve a little bit of this stress is being prepared. Putting that the word out, right? If I know I got in-serve coming up in a month or two, automatically, if I'm preparing my sailors, it means it's going to be some long days because in-serve is coming up, right? it. So I think the more information the sailors know, hopefully to be less stress on the sailors because it's going to be some long days. But a lot of that stuff comes from being in a little bit longer too, though. Like some of these sailors are brand new. They don't know what in-serve is about.
All right, so check it out. So same situation, right? Me and my Divo, we prepped our division for in-serve for months. Like, hey, in-serve coming up, it's going to be long days. I did that because I believe in the same thing you believe in. Like, hey, it's going to be long days. In-serve is coming up. So, and where I might have went wrong was, we had the long days started happening. And one of my guys, just really wasn't having it. And I could see that throughout the day, around 1800 trying to leave. No, it's one of the long days. End of the day, I get the division together. I'm like, hey, we put this out already that it's going to be long days. Nobody should be upset. This wasn't unexpected. This was expected. Nobody should be upset. Boom. So I feel like my Divo was charged up after that conversation. Answer. The sailor, he slammed the door when he left. And first class, you know, went and talked to him. But the next day, me and him talked. We had a really good conversation, and he was like, "Hey, Chief, I feel like you minimized how I felt about working a long day just because you said that it was going to be long days." He was like, "The fact that you told me it was going to be long days does not change how I feel about the fact that I worked for a long day." So that shit don't work no more, man.
Well, that's crazy though, man. I mean, that's crazy as
That don't
hell,
work
man.
no more, man.
Like if I'm telling you that it's gonna be some long days, are you mad because it's gonna be some long days? Ain't nothing I can do about that.
Yeah,
You know
he's
what I
like
mean?
he's like, you made me feel guilty about being upset that it's a long day just
Yeah.
because you said it was going to be a long day already.
Yeah, you should be guilty. Shit.
You know, and I felt like, you know, for myself, I kind of understood what he was saying. Like, I can't stop him from being mad that he's still at work.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but I feel all that. Like, I feel all, like, when it come to my sellers, when they like exhibiting some type of pain or stress, I see it, I feel it, and sometimes I take too much ownership in that. Like, I didn't have to care that much about him being upset. He was upset, you know. I can't do anything about him being upset. I don't have to come back like, hey, I already said in-service was gonna happen. I could just let that happen. I can't change him being upset. I don't have to put stock in that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man, that's all you can do. I mean, and you're right though. The biggest thing about him being upset and him slamming the door and all that, it affects other people too. Right.
Yeah.
So the people he work with is going to affect them, and you don't know how the situation going. They can be somewhere working together and they talking about this whole situation.
Oh yeah, that happens
now
all
they
the time.
now they feeling a certain type of way also about working late. So that's kind of where you don't want to have, and that's kind of how I am when it comes to, you know, to sailors. Like, I want everybody to understand stuff. I want everybody's not going to be happy all the time, but you want them to understand what's going on and understand the why and understand the purpose of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they understand all that and they still mad. You still want to like talk to them.
And that's what I try to do.
Yeah.
But now I understand that, like, everybody just, they not going to be feeling it, you know, and I can't make everybody feel it.
Yep.
The other question was, do we feel like having females on board is a distraction? Yeah, it's a two-part question. The first part of the question is, do we feel like having females on board is a distraction?
I'm gonna say it's a distraction to some, right? And I'm gonna say that because, first off, females ain't going nowhere, right? So they're gonna be on board the ships regardless. So I can see some of the single guys out there, you know, falling in love with sailors, and they want to be around, they want to talk to them and things like that. It's going to happen when you put a male and a female together. Something normally happens, right? They when you go into work and you spending 12 to 14 hours together every day, sooner or later or whatever, it's going to be some relationships there. A relationship's going to be built regardless. That's going to happen. But you have to understand also, you at work and things have to happen and things have to get done. And that's the key to it all. I don't really care about the relationships. I care about results, right? At the end of the day. So is it a distraction? Yes, it could be some distraction for some sailors because they have not learned. But I think after you talk to them or whatever, hopefully you can get your point across to them and say, hey, you also got, like, you can talk on board the ship. You know, you got breakfast, you got lunch, you got all these things. You see still in the P-way. But the distraction to me comes when people in the P-ways 2 and 3 hours talking and not getting work done. That's when the distraction comes into play. So hopefully they can learn from that and get better at it. But distraction, for me personally, no, it's not a distraction.
Hey, and for all our listeners that's not service members, active duty Navy, our civilians out there, a P-way is a passageway. You know, it's like a hallway on a ship. You know, so I had a couple people say, hey, you know, I mean, I still listen to the podcast. I'm not a sailor. So can you kind of make this thing kind of understandable for me? So
yeah,
I want y'all to understand what, you know, what it is. And we're going to try our best to do that as much as we can. Yeah. So we could keep y'all plugged in. Me, I think like a woman on a ship is as much as a distraction as a man is on a ship, or not as much as a distraction as a man is. I mean, I feel like we're all equal. So the question was worded weirdly to me. Do we like having females? Do we feel like having females on board is a distraction? No, I mean, it's just as much as having males on board being a distraction. Like, it's the same thing. It's people. People have natural relationships, and, you know, a woman is going to distract me all the time. I'm gonna be distracted by a woman in the airport. I'm gonna be distracted by a woman at a restaurant. I'm gonna be distracted by a woman walking through the galleries or any kind of malls. I'm always gonna be distracted by women. I'm a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
True.
I'm always gonna be distracted by women. Women are beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Those things are distracting. So it's always gonna be a distraction. You just gotta be professional at work and work. You know, come to work to work.
True.
And then if you do, you know, see something that you like, or you see somebody that you're attracted to, handle your business, you know, but do it outside of the working hours. Or
Stay professional.
Yeah, that's it. And then it says, do we feel like relationships are a distraction? I'll get this one. I'll kind of hit this one too. Relationships are always become a distraction to a certain extent. Now, some people can handle a work relationship good. I haven't seen that much in the Navy, but I think anywhere a relationship is at some point a distraction.
Yeah. I mean, I agree totally, man. Like, and we've seen it firsthand, man. Relationships on the ships, like it just, if something happens at home, you can always see it boils over on the ship. And then there you go. They want to talk about this and talk about that. And it just happens, man. So I'm not a big fan of relationships on the ship, but hey, it's Navy policies for that. So that is what it is, but it most definitely can be a big distraction on the ship.
Yeah.
If you let it be. If you let it be a distraction.
Even in real life, you know, even outside of the Navy, mostly every movie you watch about a gangster or something like that, normally, you know, what happens, the relationship kind of does something to his whatever situation he got going on. It's a relationship right now. You know, you got a relationship with your family, you know, those things can distract you from other things. Distraction is not always a negative thing. It's just a thing, you know? Yeah. So my relationship with my wife distracts me from other stuff, good and bad, you know, distracts me from doing stupid stuff. And sometimes, you know, I might want to do something else, but hey, I got to do this with my wife, you know, because we married.
What do you think the sailor mean when he said, when they asked him that question? What do you think the sailor is talking about?
I don't know. But if I was to say anything, I think they talking about a sailor's focus on the ship. Like being in do we think being in a relationship is a distraction to a sailor while they're on a ship? Yeah.
So if I was, you know, again, I'm assuming what they getting at is, if I was assuming what they was getting at, I probably think they was talking about in a division or something on relationship. We already know you could have a relationship. You can date on board the ship.
Yeah, you talk about like an interdivisional relationship.
Interdivision relationship, right? And could that be an issue? Yes.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's a huge issue, right? So if that's what they're talking about, yes, that's a big issue. But you can date on board a ship, like long as you like in different departments and whatever the guidelines is on. And then they may have a guideline on it also. So whatever it is, but in the division, it most definitely can be a distraction.
Yeah, it's hard, especially if you got like a role of leadership. You become a works in the soup LPO, and the whole division doing something crazy, and then you go, you know, when you're going to say something, the person that you're messing around with is in that group too. Yeah. So it's like, man, do I go chew them out? Can I right now? Like, she's right here. He's right here. Like, you know, how do I handle this situation? And later you might have to pull them like, yeah, you know, I had to say that while you were there.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
And then you go home, it'll be a whole nother environment, man.
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
You know, and then if you don't say nothing, then you got the other sailors in there gonna be like, oh, that's his girl
like
or boyfriend or girlfriend right there. So that's why they didn't say anything. So,
or they might already know you can't do nothing.
Yeah,
you can't do that. I kind of I got memories, but
yeah.
All right, so let's get into it, man. How are you, man? Your birthday coming up, man. What we doing, man?
Yeah, man. Birthday coming up. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, man. I don't say it all the time, man. I'm finna be 41, man. 41 years old, man. I know what you guys saying out there. I'm gonna look in the camera and I know what you guys saying out there. That boy don't look no older than 25. I know. Thank you. I'm gonna thank you every time. Thank you. But yeah, man. Other than that, man, I've been having a pretty good week, man. I had to go on a ship this week. I know you guys remember this episode. I talked about 0430. Guess what time I had to be on the pier this time? How about 0330? Woo! But other than being there early, man, I like my new job.
You like going to ships and just like
I like going. No, see that.
let's get into it, man. With these, because I'm sitting across the table with an inspector. Let's get into it, man. Like y'all, like you. It's two kinds of inspectors, right? You got the cool inspector. That's still gonna give you hits on the low, and then the final report, you still, man, I mean, it's just like 2 hits. I mean, your program failed, but it's just 2 hits, man. You're good to go. Yeah. Then you just got the regular asshole inspector, right? Yeah. So I mean,
which one am I?
Which one are you, man?
I am I'm gonna say pretty cool inspector. Okay. But I'm going to hit you though, and you're gonna know it ahead of time. But the thing about it, when I talk to you, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm saying, hey, I'm not only gonna tell you jacked up, but then I'm gonna show you how to fix it right at the same time. But I'm most definitely gonna hit you though. I mean, because
you never have sympathy.
No, I don't have sympathy because I'm making you better.
Right.
I feel like when I go out there and I give you these hits, because my job is to come see you before the in-serve team come see you. Yeah. Right. So all the hits that I'm gonna do is gonna get you ready to go for when in-serve get on your ship. Right, and that's all I'm doing. That's why our inspection, I think, since I did a ride with the in-serve team, and I feel like our inspection is harder than the in-serve inspection, and I think that's how it should be. So the in-serve inspection, oh man, it's way, we knew this, we knew that, and because the in-serve inspector, when they come on board, they don't look at everything we look at. They might look at 10% of this, or they may look at 20% of this. When we come on board, we looking at all of it because we don't know what the in-serve team gonna take a look at. So we looking at everything. But at the same time, when I'm looking at stuff, I do take in accountability that I've been on a ship before too. Yeah. So I know how it is. I know how stressful. I know how the sailors can get. I know all these things also.
And they already probably
stressed out. They've been working on this stuff forever. And then they just had 8 teams, different inspection teams probably just came off the ship. So I take all that stuff in accountability too when I go on board the ship. And then you see a lot of times, man, I'm when I do my inspections, I'm going through stuff and I'm doing this. But at the same time, man, I make sailors feel comfortable too though. I don't want them to think, okay, man, I got hit on this. Now it's the end of the world, and now you got to go work the freaking to 24 hours to get it fixed. And all that type of stuff.
So you killing them softly?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, the thing about it,
I wish it mattered when those reports go up.
The report's gonna come out, and then on top of my report, when it comes out, it's a first time thing. So I don't really you can go fix it and all that stuff, but it's only gonna be in the report. But again, it's all about preparation, though. I'm gonna let you know that ahead of time, though. You know what I'm saying? So if I hit you on something, you're going to know it. Yeah. I'm letting you know how I'm doing business. I done seen inspectors on board the ship are coming there, and like you said, they can be cool and they can be like, yeah, don't worry about that. That's not a big deal. And then your report come up on the report is big time. So no,
it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you it's going to be on the report regardless. It's going to be on there, man.
So I've had good relationships with inspectors every inspection that I went through. But I know sometimes inspectors get that look like, man, here they come. It's us against them. And that's kind of how it's pep talk before the inspection. It's us against them. They going to come on the ship for 2 days and we going to show them motherfuckers that we are such and such ship. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then we go through and you got your junior guys pumped up, ready to go. But I mean, a lot of these guys just got a job to do as well. Yeah. And for me, it's the end of my in-serve chapter on this ship at this command. We finished. It's over. I didn't sleep throughout the in-serve. I think I slept 4 hours, man. Yeah. I slept like an hour and a half the second night, probably 2 hours the first night.
Why you think that happened? Why you think you slept only a couple of hours, man?
It's a false sense of like the Mamba mentality for me. Like, I'm not sleeping, man. You know what I'm saying? This what I do. Yeah. You know, I say it's a false sense of it because I probably could have went to sleep. Yeah. But that's just my mentality. Like, I'm not sleeping until these guys off our ship. I'm going to stay up.
Yeah.
No matter what I got to do, we going to work hard. For instance, like we got hits. We got like hits for anybody that's listening that's like not in the military. We go through these inspections after the first day. Sometimes they find issues that we need to fix. Since I'm an electrician, some of those issues could deal with safety. So we got some electrical hits that would be considered as major hits or discrepancies. So if you ever hear the word discrepancies, it's the same thing. So we got a few electrical discrepancies that had to get fixed. I stayed up and I let my guys go to sleep. Whatever time they were able to go to sleep, I let them go to sleep, and I stayed up and I fixed every major safety discrepancy that we had. Yeah. And I just couldn't sleep, man. I wasn't going to sleep until I knew those guys were off the ship. That's just my attitude when I approach these kind of things. When the stakes are that high, I was like exhausted when this was over.
Let me tell you, man, I'm gonna give you one of my proud moments, man. And it was kind of a similar situation that you talking about, but it wasn't in serve. It was FCT, which means final contract trials. And my guys we had been up for a long time, working hard or whatever, and I kind of like let them go home and let them go to their rooms or whatever back in Maine, what they was doing. And I did the same thing, you know, doing all these inspections, staying here, trying to fix those things here and there. And guess who there was with me, man?
Who was
my DC-1, man?
Yeah.
You know, and he was telling me, he was actually my DC-1, and I had a DC-1. I put in there DC-1 Barnes, and I had DC-2 Laver, man. Those guys like wanted to be there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what you want out of these. They wanted to be there. They wanted to get this stuff done and want to get, you know, and wanted to win. They wanted to be the best. They ain't want me, you know, to look bad in front of inspectors or whatever, man. When you get a team like that on board, man, you got something.
Yeah.
You got something
and
there, man.
And I, you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't say my LPO and my division officer wasn't up kicking it too. So my LPO and my division officer was up kicking it too. And we are not saying that that's the way to go. We are not saying
definitely.
that that's the thing to do. Go to sleep, get your rest. You need it. You know, you could be exhausted. So go to sleep, get your rest.
Yeah.
That's just who I am as a person. I'm going to play through the pain. I'm going to go through the fire. That's just me. That's how I'm always approach it. But that's not the best or the healthiest thing to do. It's not the best thing to do. Not the norm. You know what I'm saying? Because if we saying not the norm, we could be saying like we're abnormal, or we, you know, that's not the best thing to do. Go to sleep.
Get your rest, man. Get your rest.
So we had some people come to the ship and give resiliency training to us. And it was as every other resiliency training goes. It was like 8 slides. You could tell that the trainer wanted more out of the people that was sitting in there. You could tell the people that was sitting in there probably didn't want to be there. Slides were very, very basic. And it left me with the question. The last question was, it was kind of packaged in, hey, the big Navy wants to know what you guys do to reduce your stress, or they want to give you different avenues to reduce your stress. So I talked to the trainer after. I'm like, hey, you know, a lot of these things kind of come out with, you know, Navy wanting us to reduce our stress or figure out ways. As a matter of fact, it was about resiliency. So it's about how to handle stress, how to be resilient through stress. And, you know, my only question to her was like, do we do anything about the stress that's created? Like some of the things that give us unneeded stress that I'm not going to get too much into it because I was just talking about it earlier, but it's a lot of unneeded stressors, a lot of priorities, a lot of big things. And then she you know, she turned around, she just pretty much, she was like, hey, Chief, you know, this training, I didn't make this PowerPoint.
I gave you that talk, right? You got that
she was
talk.
Like, and I mean, and I'm hoping that, you know, I told her, I invited her to the table. I told her I want to talk to her so we can have a real conversation about this. So hopefully she's listening and she comes. But, you know, she just was like, I didn't make this PowerPoint. I wouldn't choose to talk about this in this setting, because she was like on the mess decks. That's where we eat. She's like, I wouldn't choose to talk about this in this setting with this ventilation blowing behind me in front of this amount of people. I would rather it be a more intimate environment. So if we could get her, you know, to sit down and do it like that, because she was asking for suggestions. She was asking like how to make things better. And, you know, it's a Navy training. It's a bunch of leaders in there too. It's just officers and chiefs. And like, you know, it's one of them normal things where it's like you kind of trying to pull this information out of people. Like, you know, what do you guys do with your sellers? And you got like 6 people out of like 25 that's like actually providing any answers. So it's one of those trainings that's as good as the audience.
Yeah. And which is a lot of training in the Navy these days, man. Like you need to have people actually, you know, playing along. It was
literally people like, I got stuff to do. Don't ask. You know how almost every training is. Yeah. I got stuff to do after this. Don't nobody ask no questions.
Yeah. Like, and I know it's one of those trainings we want to get out there because you got so many people that's going to and doing a mental health thing and being stressed out. So it's something where they have to come on board the ship and try to do this and try to, you know, be heard. But I'm gonna tell you, to be honest, sea duty is stressful by itself right now. The way sea duty is going right now, and the amount of inspections and the amount of things that's going on at sea, right? Being away from your family is stressful. So automatically you got stressors that's going to be there. So I think what these people are doing and trying to come on board the ship, they just trying to minimize it a little bit, but at the same time, it's always going to be stressful, man. Sea duty is stressful time.
Public service announcement. Stop doing PowerPoints. Just stop it. PowerPoints are old. They're dated. And then a lot of the PowerPoints are old and dated. Like, not just the idea of it. Like, a lot of them, like, we haven't updated these PowerPoints in God knows how long. You know, it's people in the pictures still wearing utilities. Yeah. Y'all already know how I feel about utilities. You know, so just stop it. Just try something else. Just have somebody come to the setting and just spark up a conversation, a discussion. That's part of why we started a podcast, man. So we can kind of talk about this stuff, because those PowerPoints really bad, like not good. And then the people that get in front of the group. so you got 2 different people that get it. Well, you got 3 different people that get in front of the group with PowerPoints. You got some people that get in front of the group with PowerPoints and they don't go over the PowerPoint. They elaborate, right? And I like that one. I like that group, right? But then you got the people that get in front of the group for training and they just read the entire PowerPoint. Like, that's like, what did you do here? Like, you, especially if it wasn't even your PowerPoint, you did not give us any kind of training at all. You just read an entire PowerPoint. Then you get that other group of people, right? The one that's going to challenge the audience by having them read the slides.
And what they tell you to do all the time too. Hey, can you read the slide? Can you read that slide right there?
Hey, can somebody read that? Like you're still not given any training. Like, the PowerPoint, that whole idea to me is just dated, man.
Yeah, man. PowerPoint is not the way to go, man. You sit in front of those PowerPoints, man. Especially I've been sitting in front of PowerPoint. They got like 70 slides, man. You already know it's going to be a long day when you got 70 slides PowerPoint to read, man. But you brung it up, man. Another reason why we on this they're doing this podcast thing, man. And one of my biggest things when you brung it to me, because of course you guys didn't know, you brung this to me and we talked about it, and you said, man, we just gonna have conversations. Yeah. You mean? And then at the time that you brung this up to me, that's what we always do. We sit in CCS. We always, having conversations about stuff, and you always used to ask me like what I think about this or what I think about or whatever. And that's kind of what we're doing right now. Yeah. Asking questions, and I like doing that stuff too, though. So
yeah, and it don't happen a lot, man. My last hit on training is the people that go into training and all they do is ask questions. Beginning, hey, I'm gonna start out with the annual tag out training. Anybody know what tag out is? No. That's why we're here. Give us the training. Y'all do that a lot, right?
Yeah, and know your audience too. Know your audience. You talking about DC wise?
What's the effective range?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's why this is called training. Tell me what it is.
Yeah. But you're right though. I mean, it's the way you doing it though. Like, a lot of times, like when I'm doing training, and I tell people, but if you learn this from day one, you always thinking about it. And I don't think sailors, think about this really. Like, if I'm going to teach E4 and below, I'm gonna talk about something different than I am if I'm going to teach a bunch of chiefs, or a bunch of senior officers. I'm not gonna say the same thing, but guess what? A lot of times in the Navy, we got that same PowerPoint for each group of people we talking to, and it's not the same. You got this group that have been in the Navy for 2 years, 1 year or whatever, and you got this group that's been in the Navy probably average 15 years.
Yeah.
So it's a different training. They should know the know something about CO2 bottles or whatever. So I'm not going to talk to them about that. I'm going to talk to them something about a little bit different on how we're going to attack something or whatever, not about the effective range. I mean, at this age, you think you care about a freaking effective range of CO2 bottle. You don't care about that shit, man.
We're going to put this fire out, man.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to put it out some type of way.
Yeah.
So another elephant in the room that a lot of people been talking about is your Niners hats. So I wanted to kind of ask you about that and see what your personal opinion was about just people seeing the Niners hats, not liking them too much.
Yeah. So as you guys already know, the 49ers went to the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, they went.
And I had this actual little thing going on Facebook. I had a little page on there or whatever. And I haven't been on the page. Did
it die with the season?
Yeah. So it kind of died with this season, but I'm gonna bring it back, man, because I've been getting a lot of hate, from me not going on this site and talking. So
people wanted to hear that.
They want to hear it. They most definitely want to hear it, because last year when I was talking, it was all about wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They like, why you ain't up talking about the losses?
Why I'm not talking about these losses? So I'm gonna bring it back. It's coming real soon. I actually me and Damo been talking about it. I'm getting me a little setup, man, and I'm gonna start back talking about these losses and talking about the 49ers, but not just the 49ers, man. I think I'm gonna talk about football in general, man, because I like talking about that stuff. So that's in the future. It's in the works. But back to my 49ers stuff, man. You guys always see me. I'm either gonna be in some 49ers stuff or I'll be in some Ole Miss. I'm an Ole Miss fan too, so you guys can go ahead and start hating on that too. But yeah, those two things I'm always be talking about, man. I'm always gonna have that gear on. Win, lose, or draw, right? Yeah. And then I'm from Mississippi, so I know a lot. I'm going to answer this too. A lot of you guys going to ask, why you a 49er fan and you from Mississippi? And my answer to that is the best player to ever put on cleats is from Mississippi, and he played for the 49ers. And that's my opinion. I say that's Jerry Rice. Went to Mississippi Valley. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why I'm a 49er fan. I've been a 49er fan since the 80s. So I've been a long time,
it's just, it started 3 weeks ago. It was the hat. It was a hat, a 49ers hat.
Yeah.
The next week, it was another hat. This week, you got the shirt on. It's a cup now.
Because they Sunday.
Okay.
They game day.
Are they still being televised?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
They we 4-5, man. They added another game to it, so we ain't quite out of it yet, though. You know what I mean? Okay. They added another playoff game, so we ain't out of there yet, though, man. We still grinding. Got a lot of injuries, but we still grinding, man.
Okay. Couple things just on the outside news is I'm not gonna get into this too much because it's outside news stuff. The first is rest in peace, King Von, young rapper who died from Chicago. He died in Atlanta. So rest in peace to King Von. We had another rapper pass away as well. Rest in peace to him, and prayers to him and his family. And then we got a new president. The election happened. Well, I guess the election ain't over yet. What's going on with the election?
Yeah, man, I don't know. But for as I know, we got a president-elect, Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. For as I know that Donald Trump is in there. He's trying to do a lot of send a lot of recounts and try to do things like that, and which is in his right. So I'm not here being a Trump hater. He is in his right to do all that stuff. He can get recount. He can do all that stuff he need to do. Pretty much in your hometown, they think it was an issue there, in Philly.
I don't see how. Oh, so before we continue, Mo3 is the rapper from Texas who got killed. Mo3. I don't see how. Philly is a blue. I mean, Pennsylvania is blue normally. Philly, Trump not getting Philly's vote no matter
not
what.
Philly.
Not Philly. So if Philly was, who helped Biden get in there, then it's that they could recount those votes a million times.
And you know what? Man, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm not a political guy, right? When it comes to who's the president, I'm not really all into that stuff. This year was a big year. I've been in it way more than I normally be into politics. But I do got a question for all the listeners, and you guys can bash me. You guys can say whatever and send these questions in. But I want to say this, though. When it came to the election this year, we knew some votes was going to be, mailed in, right? Meaning you got some mail-in votes, then you got votes that you're going to go to the booth and do. Right. So those votes was going to be counted a little bit late. And I guess when Donald Trump, went in and he went up in all these states in the beginning, then they started counting those mail-in votes and things started to change. But from my understanding, that was put out since the day one. This was going to happen like that. So I don't understand. I know a lot of people upset about that. Like, oh, these votes shouldn't have counted. No, we know we did mail-in votes. Shit, I did mail-in vote. I mailed mine in.
I was surprised, man. I thought Trump was going to be reelected. I did not expect Joe Biden to win.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. In the beginning, leading up to it, I thought the same thing. I mean, I just thought Trump was going to win. But then was watching it, and then I seen and the reason why I kind of started to think Joe Biden was going to win, when I started seeing the votes start going, when they said that they wasn't counting they just starting to count the mail-in votes. Mm-hmm. And then I said, oh man, that's what Joe Biden was pushing for, the mail-in votes, because of COVID and people didn't want to go to booths. So it's going to be a lot more mail-in votes. So then I started thinking, oh man, Trump may be up in some of these places because they haven't started counting the mail-in votes yet. So yeah.
And so we not only have a new president-elect, but we also got a vice president-elect, Kamala Harris.
Yeah, man.
First woman, black. She got some Asian in there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of firsts for that.
First, man. A lot of firsts.
Big, that was so big. I retweeted her post of her saying that, I might be the first person that's going to be in the office, but I won't be the last.
Man, didn't that bring chills, man? I was listening to that speech, man. She speak very well, man, and she did a good job on that, man. When she said that, it kind of brought some chills to me, man.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever a moment in time that I won't salute women on their accomplishments, and it's never a moment in time where that's not a big deal either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I say that because it don't matter in my opinion, it don't matter what your political beliefs is. I don't personally think we should still even have red, blue stuff.
Yeah.
The president should represent the better part of America, whatever we want. But so whatever your political views are, we have our first woman in that seat, in that office, and that's just something that we should be able to salute, whether it was on the red side or the blue side. So congrats, shout out to Kamala Harris. Good, good job, good work getting there. Now it's time to get to work. It's time to do some work whenever we finish counting the votes and figure out if it's Trump or not. Yeah. So I know for some of it's everybody's hanging on now at this point. For some of the people that voted Biden, it's like you can't 100% be happy because you're still waiting on the actual end result. And then for some of the people that voted Trump, they still hanging on to the hope that somehow we gonna squeeze these last couple votes out for these last couple states, because Trump is not going to concede.
Yeah, and regardless of who you voted for, I know a lot of people wasn't happy with Obama, when he was president, right? So I know a lot of people probably won't be happy if Biden become the president, because they voted for Trump. So they're probably not going to be happy with it.
So let's get into that, man. Let's get into what it's like to sit. You've been in for what? How many years?
21.
21 years.
22 years.
22 years.
22 years, yeah.
All right, so you've been in for 22 years.
Yep.
In those 22 years, have you liked every president that was in office?
So I'm gonna be honest with you, man, and I said this a little bit earlier, man. It really wasn't a big deal for me on who was president.
Right.
Now, working on the president, have I ever came and said, man, I just don't like what's going on? I'm gonna say Not really, man. It really it never touched me like that. Like, but it is some people that's real political.
It's some people. It's some people that are. I remember we had a Barack Obama picture in our shop, like probably like 2 years after he got elected, and he's our president. Like, we could have pictures of the president in our office. I remember somebody walked in the shop and was like, "Why the fuck y'all got a picture of that dude up in the shop?" You know, and I'm like, because he's the president. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why. So I know that it's people that, like, you know, don't like the sitting president at times in the military, and I wanted to talk about it, but you never had that experience.
I never had that type of experience. Now, I know people talk about political stuff, which we really don't supposed to talk about political stuff in the workspace and all the workplace and all that stuff, but I know people talk about it all the time. But when it comes to me in the military, and I just think back, like, what should I think about when a president coming in, right? And I'm gonna tell you, mostly every time a president come in, we get like little raises here, like every year or whatever. Matter of fact, we may have not had the biggest of raises with Obama, but we had some pretty good raises when Trump came in. I remember us getting like, 2 point something, 3 point something, whatever.
We had a nice joint with Obama too. I think we had the 3.1 joint.
Yeah, so I'm assuming people thinking about it like that. But me as a military man and what we do, what does the president actually do for me? I think my biggest concern maybe be who's the freaking CNO, or who is the MACPON, things like that. I think about, like, who's those guys. I know they may have some kind of effect on a policy or something that I'm doing in the military. The president himself, what he's going to do for little Damon, I don't know, man.
So one of the things is we just can't badmouth. We can't badmouth the president. Then, no. If that's all we could get to, because I'm another one who never really. And I had this conversation a million times, but I don't feel the personal effect of who's in the office a lot. I really don't. Kill me for that. But I never really feel the personal effect. I see stuff in the news. Like, I remember when Bush was in office, and a lot of the stuff that I saw him doing was funny. It was like funny to me. I got laughs out of Bush, his press conferences and stuff like that. He said some funny stuff. I know some people like hated him, but I joined the Navy like right at the Obama years too. Yeah, like right in 07. So it was like the last year for Bush. So I would just say to monitor your content that you're putting out on social media, because you still represent the military. Yep. You still so you can't do that. Like, it's certain things about active protests that you just can't do. So just be careful with that stuff and keep that stuff personal to yourself.
Yep, I agree, man.
Speaking of black women in first, though, I am personally going to clap it up for Sydney Barber from Lake Forest, Illinois. I'm going to clap it up for her.
Yeah. Yes.
Congrats, Sydney Barber. First black female brigade commander. So she's supposed to be taking over after the holiday break, the spring semester. And this is something, and this is the Naval Academy. So at the Naval Academy, Sydney Barber, first black female brigade commander, taking over after the holiday break. And this is something that's never happened ever in 175 years of the Academy operating.
Yeah, man. First off, when I just think about this, and I think of it just like you think about it, can you sit here and believe the fact that this is the first black woman to lead the midshipmen?
No, it's hard. I asked my division officer who went to the academy, I'm like, is this a big deal or what? Like, he was like, well, he's like, the brigade commander is, somebody, he's like, most of them are normally like really, really hot shots. He said they all look good too. Like they all good looking. He was like, it's never a bad looking brigade commander. But he was like, they normally like really, really good, like good hard workers, real impressive people, period. Like just alphas, good to go. So he gave me some insight on just that part of it. So he said she must be good if she got elected to be brigade. She's not the first woman, but she's the first black woman.
Yeah, doing a little research on it, man. The first woman, I think, was 1991 was the first woman, but it's a big deal, man. That's 4,500 midshipmen that comes through there, man. She's gonna be leading those guys, man, leading from the front. if anybody out there that got more details that wanna hit us up and let us know like the actual like what do they do, please do hit us up. Let us know. We always trying to do better when it comes to that stuff. So I don't know exactly their job or whatever, but I know how big of a deal is if you in charge of you stand in front of 4,500 midshipmen, man. That's a lot, man. That's a big time job. And big shouts out to Sydney Barber, man, being the first black woman.
There's a couple other things about her, right?
Go ahead, man.
You read up on her?
Go ahead.
She holds the school record for the 4x400 meter relay.
Oh yeah, I did.
She do some other stuff, and then she's also on a gospel choir.
Yeah.
So she doing a lot of stuff. And then in 2017, Simone Askew was selected as the cadet first captain at the U.S. Military Academy. So that's West Point's equivalent to the Brigade Commander.
Yep.
But it's in reading the article, it said officials at the Air Force Academy did not immediately respond to questions about whether black women have ever served in the school's top student posts. And that's a cadet wing commander. So, hey, Air Force. Air Force
good?
Academy, let us know what's up, man.
What's up, man? What's going on out there, man?
It took the Naval Academy 175 years. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a kind of talk about that. 175 years later, we should not be doing any first. In 2020, we just talked about Kamala. Now we talking about Sydney Barber. In 2020, these first for black women are starting to get old to me, you know? And I don't know if that's everybody. I mean, and that's women in general, but this is another black woman, another first. Like, damn, just open the doors for them. Like, let's get this out of the way. Like, I'm sick of this.
Yeah, actually, man, we talking about first again, just off topic a little bit, man. Like, we also got the first, and I gotta look it up real quick. I ain't got the name with me, but I just read it. The first woman to be a GM for baseball.
Yeah,
woman, the first.
Just period. Come on,
first.
Y'all. Like, we got to do better. We got to get these. We got to get these doors open, right? I think we only had ever one GSM Master Chief, Pariba Reed. She was on a Villa Golf too. She was on there right before I got there. But damn, just one GSM Master Chief, and all this. Like, I mean, like, all right, I know we had some. Didn't they have a scandal with like the Master Chief board a couple years ago?
Yeah, they
like
did
just a couple years ago, right?
Yep.
Yeah, like we. Like, we got to do better. Like,
gotta do better, man.
We can't keep doing stuff like that, because that means that, you know, we were picking and choosing who was going places.
Yep.
That ain't cool.
And we talking about it, man. Like, they talking about it. Like, that whole scandal thing was people talking. Come on, man. You at these boards, you can't be doing all that, man. It's just like it's just bad all the way around, man. If you think about it, that if you was up during that time frame from Master Chief and you got looked over because you got some homeboys up there, man, how that make you feel, man?
Crazy, man.
You know what I mean? Like my record could be better than his record, and I didn't get selected because you know him. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. It's crazy.
And that, I mean, and that's like, we got senior chiefs like you affected. I know people personally. I mean, and you would be affected because you were up for Master Chief, and that was like 2 years ago or something, right? Yeah. Then I know other people that, you know, that's been hit by that too. You know, we got a lot of Master Chiefs that, you know, been in for a while. It's hard to make. It's not easy to make Master Chief. So these people that put in the work, that deserve to, you know, sit that seat, man, we gotta start opening up the doors for them.
Most definitely, man.
3% increase in basic pay. So we were just talking about that, right? It's looking like a 3% budget was proposed. It's going to be approved in December, and that's BAH 2.8 increase.
Yeah, man. Normally you see it like that. It's always you know, you talk about the base pay, man, but that 2.8 on that BAH too, man. That's the housing, man, allowance, man. That's
good if you live in Cali. That's good if you live in Cali.
Yeah. Most definitely. You live in Cali, that's pretty good, man. Maybe anywhere, man. You know.
Now for us DC dwellers.
Yeah, I mean, you getting a raise anyway. Got to be okay. 3.1.
More money.
Yeah, man. Got to get that money.
All right. This has been a big hot topic. A lot of people want to talk about this one. The alternate rank tab.
Oh, man.
For the Type 3s are the Woodland Camis. I can't even act like I knew that was the name of them. The Woodland Camis. Did you know that?
Talking about for the
hold on. So hold on. So Doc listened to the episode, right? My doc, for all listeners, my doc listened to the episode, and I said PCB, right? She said, you keep saying PCB. It's PFB, pseudo. And then she told me what it was, pseudo Philibius, whatever. I still don't remember what it is, but I want to clarify that it's PFB. It's not PCB.
Oh, man.
You know, I don't want to get that wrong. But hey, we don't know everything up here, right? And we don't want to. We just want to have honest conversations, you know what I'm saying? And I told Doc, next time when I'm talking about something health related, I'm gonna give her a phone call, man, because I don't want to mess that up. Whoever listening, like, what he talk about? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's PFB. But yeah, back to these woodland camis, which are the Type 3s.
Yeah.
So how you feel about this? This is a big thing, man.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you.
First off, right? Can you break it down to our civilian listeners what we're talking about? Period.
Okay, so for our NWUs, woodland camis,
the NWU is the
Type 3s,
the Naval working
uniform. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, when we walking around and we see an officer or we see somebody we need to salute, it's kind of hard to recognize until you get like right up on them. Right?
You ever had that struggle?
Oh, all the time. Yeah, I do. I mean, I had a struggle all the time. I'm looking at everybody like trying to figure out what they are. Yeah, I'm looking like I'm not looking at their face. I'm looking straight down trying to figure out what it is. So the Navy came up with this bright idea that we're gonna use the. Let me make sure I get it right. We're gonna use the cold weather Parker insignia, right? Now this insignia is black, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you straight up what I think about it. I think it's a great idea, but I think we could have did something else besides using that for the representation. Because I mean, when you look at this, man, it's a totally different color from what the NW Type 3, the working uniform is. Totally different color. Good idea, but we could have did a lot more, man. We could have changed the stitching, or we could have did something like that, man. We didn't change now. Do I see it now? Oh yeah,
I'm imagining it.
I most definitely can tell the difference now. But come on, man,
I'm just imagining Big Navy just ain't had time for the bullshit, man. Hey, just take the tab off your pocket, man. Yeah, we ain't about to make no whole new thing, man.
Yeah. And I thought about it for a second. I think we didn't want to spend the money. Was it a money thing? We didn't want to go out there. We did United States Navy, and we didn't want to spend the money.
Yo, this one of those Chief McCullough resolutions. Like, hey, you know, they're having. Hey, just tell them take it off the. Tell them take it off the Parker, man. Like, they probably called us for this one, man.
Oh man, and then with the other thing that got me caught up, and this caught me because me and you big on this right here, man.
Yeah.
They said when it came out that they got the feedback from the safes. So I thought about this for a minute, man. Why none of this feedback came from me? Now I don't know anything about, you know, what one. I guess it's a focus group again, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Whoever they talked to, I know I wasn't involved, and I know you wasn't involved. Again, hey world, can we get involved in some of these groups and some of these feedback, something, so we can talk about it?
Yeah, you would think that San Diego, because right now we're in California, we record in California, you would think San Diego was a hot spot for people to come to get answers from sailors, but I haven't heard anything from anybody about any of this stuff.
Nothing. And if you were on one of those groups that talked about this, man, hit us up.
Yeah,
I want to know how it went. I want to know, you know, what was talked about in there. Did you guys come up with that cold weather Parker to use? Did you guys come up with that? Let me know.
I'm sure like somebody probably had it under the rug. Hey, well, just use that. Just grab that.
That looked pretty good.
Just take that, man.
Oh my goodness, man. Come on.
You know, man, what I want to know from you though? If we did smokers, right? You know what smokers is, right?
Yeah.
What smokers?
Smokers is where you like back in the day they used to like put on gloves or put on something and make a little ring. If you had some kind of disagreement and you didn't like each other, you pretty much put hands on each other until you resolve your little issue you got.
All right, so I had read in some story, it was a quick story, it's probably completely false, I probably don't know what the hell I'm talking about here, but I read in some story it was a captain on some ship and he was doing smokers with the sailors, he was whooping their asses, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you had to do smokers with your captain, Would you win that fight or would you let your captain win?
Man, I ain't letting the captain win nothing. I'm going in there swinging for the fences, man. I'm trying to take him out, man. Because I'm here to tell you, I ain't letting him. No. Because I've been hit with one of those gloves before, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It ain't a nice feeling. So I'm most definitely not trying to let the captain. Yeah, I'm trying to win that, man.
All right, let's get into smokers a little bit, though. What you think about it?
It's not for the Navy. I mean, when I came in, man, we used to just do stuff like this on our own, man. Like go up there and just go into. I was on one of my ships, man, on a frigate, man. We should go up there to the top and just, do our own thing up there, man. Do our own little smokers up there. Just a friend, just like 10 of us. Just go up there, man, and duke it out. But as you been in the Navy for a little while, man, most definitely not a good idea to be going up there with no medical staffs and man, we came out there, man. We got guys that was out of commission, like, man, a day or two, man, like having headaches, having all type of stuff. Cause we up there just putting hands on each other, man. So I don't think it's a good idea now to do anything like that, man.
You ever had like fan room counseling or fan room beatdown stuff or heard of that?
Yeah, almost definitely heard of it. The only thing that I kind of like witnessed myself, and I wasn't in the room, but I was outside the room, were and I'm gonna give you the whole story. So this happened. We had I was on a frigate and we had some inspectors on board, and I was the actual team leader at the time, and my scene lead was a DC-2. And I go down in this space and we fighting this fire, and then
it was a real fire?
Not a real fire,
okay,
drill. Run a drill with ATG on board the ship, and we going down there and I'm fighting the fire, or pretending to fight the fire for everybody else out there. Pretending to fight the fire, and I'm calling for the scene leader, let him know what's going on, but the scene leader wasn't giving me no feedback back. He wasn't repeating. Normally we got this big thing in the Navy, we repeat backs. So if I say something to them, they automatically gonna say something back. So I wasn't getting no feedback from him. And then for a long time, and then I heard over the 1MC, cancel the drill, drill was over or whatever. And I come out of the space and wasn't no scene leader up there, right? So my chief called me and the DC-2 up there to repair 2. And on a frigate, repair 2 is all the way up forward up there, right? So we go up there, and he told me, he said, Chief's like, hey, you chill right here. And he said, these 2 kind of talk to you in repair 2. And man, I heard a lot of yelling, man, and I just heard like some furniture in there moving, man. A lot of stuff was in there, like it was shaking out the bulkheads in there, man. Like it was crazy. And then all of a sudden, man, like the chief comes out and he told me to follow him.
Okay.
So I followed him, and he got there and say, hey man, that's unacceptable, and that's not how we do. That's not, because I was kind of like been in the Navy maybe a year.
Yeah.
And he just wanted me to know that's not how we do business.
Like
you would never be left in
whooping people ass in the repair locker? Or?
No. Like when it came to training,
okay,
we don't leave. A scene leader wouldn't leave his team in the space.
Yeah.
Right. And then on top of that, it was a big deal for him, and the fact that he did it, and you got inspectors on board too. It's easy when there were inspectors on board, with a cancel the drill and just start it over or whatever. But you got inspectors on board, so it was even a bigger deal, for him. But it was most definitely back in like 99, 98, 99, man. And man, my chief was a big boy.
So how was DC-2 after that?
I didn't see him right afterwards, right?
Yeah.
But he was kind of one of those guys that was kind of I ain't gonna say it'd have been easy to do that to him. Put it like that. You know what I mean? He one of those guys. He one of those guys that you could have did that to him, and he'll come right back and you guys friends in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He's one of those type of guys. Like, oh, I messed up, so I deserve that.
Damn.
He's one of those guys. Yeah, I probably deserve that.
So
right
Chief
there.
is the only person that came out the locker?
Yeah, he didn't come out. Chief came out the locker.
Man.
He came out the locker, closed it behind him.
Man.
So I guess he told him to take a little time.
Yeah. Yeah, clean off.
Yeah.
Clean off, man.
Take a little time,
And pick your shit back up too, man. Straight this locker, put the FFE.
Most definitely, man. That was a wild moment for me, man. Like, but that is not the wildest moment when it comes from my chief, though. That was one of them, man.
Yeah.
That was one of the wild moments, man. It was one of those eye-opening experiences. But pretty much right after he left the ship, man, I kind of didn't see nothing like that no more, man.
Yeah.
Like things to that nature. But he was one of those aggressive guys, man.
Yeah. So I mean, so is that, I know we still talk about smokers, but my question with that is like, do you think that that's something that's lacking right now in the military, that those aggressive leaders?
It's a difference in them being
And I don't mean
aggressive.
I don't mean
and
whooping
being
their
like,
ass in a locker, but just I mean, how
I most definitely
soft have we got?
Yeah, we got real. We have got soft because we try to find ways to go around it because of the fact of we get in trouble now. Right, we get in trouble for the things we say and the things we do, and so if we get in trouble for it, yes, we are adapting, right? So if I see Navy Times got these chiefs get in trouble, and I see the ship is giving these letters out for people who saying this and doing this,
right?
Yeah, I'm not going to continue to do it. I have to adapt to the situation, and we are adapting, so we're not as aggressive as probably once was before, and we can't be because we getting held to a different standard than it was back then.
I think one of the hardest things that I had to hear, right, and it was close to home for me too. It was a chief saying like, "Hey, you know, I want to. This seller is always messed up, like always unsat, and I want to correct the seller every single time I see the seller unsat. But sometimes I don't correct the seller because I don't want the seller to think that I'm picking on, you know, the seller." That shit was hard to hear, man.
Yeah,
but it hit home too. And I know this part of our conversation right now is kind of like in direction to chiefs and not as much in favor of like some of our sellers, but that hit home for me. Like I've been in situations like that, man. Like every time I see the seller, they doing something wrong, you know, but if I continue to correct them, it's gonna be like, yo, I'm picking on them, you know what I'm saying? And that's hard, man.
But I tell you, man, I actually had a situation the same way that and I was told the same thing before too. And my thing is, man, like how I answer that question, how I deal with that is I'm gonna say it, man. Like I'm gonna tell you every day I see you jacked up, I'm gonna tell you jacked up, and I'm gonna say this, hey, I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm not trying to even talk about this every day. But if you continue to look like this, I am not gonna walk by you and say it's okay. And for you to think it's okay. Because if I walk by you, the first thing is somebody else corrects you, you would be like, hey, senior didn't say nothing. And that's not going to happen with me.
Yeah, that's the stock right there.
Yeah,
Hey, senior ain't say nothing, chief ain't say nothing.
Yeah, so
it's the same with the COVID mask. Like we don't. I don't want to tell you every day to wear your mask or put your mask up. We don't. That's not. You know, that ain't the life that we live where we want to say that. You know what I'm saying? It's just we have to. It's a part of the job is to maintain that structure, and plus, COVID's a deadly disease. You know, so that's how I break that down on my guys every day at quarters. Like, well, every opportunity that I get, I'm not gonna say every day, but hey, COVID is a deadly disease. There are actual people dying from this. Make sure we're responsible with our mask and everything.
Most definitely, man.
And we being responsible. We got our sneeze guard. We got our we got our thermostat, thermometer, whatever you call it. We good to go. We being responsible for everybody that's out there.
Most definitely.
Listening. All right, back to smokers for a second. I think smokers is a decent thing. I know that you need a lot in place. You need medical, you need a whole bunch of stuff. But I feel like smokers is
So what would you do it for though? Is it to correct somebody, or you would do it for what? What was your purpose of doing it?
The same reason why people play basketball or football.
So do it for just the sport.
Recreational sport.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A recreational sport. I mean the whole idea of, hey, my LPO pissed me off. Let's put them gloves on and, you know, show them. Like people always say that the world would be a better place if you could just smack the hell out of somebody, right?
Yeah.
Like if men could just smack men or whatever.
I think if that happened, man, like if I was the LPO, man, and my fireman took me up in there, man, and put hands on me, man, I don't even think we would see the man. He might like be in the, I might tell him to go do something the next day, and he'd be like, "You remember that?"
Yeah, it's like
you remember what I did yesterday, right?
It's like that Kevin Hart joke when he said that they whipped his dad ass. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna tell me to take the trash out. Or you take the trash out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but big news. Navy SEALs, Nigeria. SEAL Team 6, October 31st. The Navy SEALs rescued a hostage in Nigeria. Yeah,
man. Big deal in the Navy. I think it was a civilian went in and rescued. But the biggest thing out of that story and the feedback that I got, man, was seemed like it was a lot of help. It wasn't just the Navy SEALs, man. It seemed like Nigeria helped out a little bit too, and making sure we got that individual back, got him safe, and everything's good to go. So that was a big deal. On like, you know, I hear a lot of stories all the time when we talk about the United States, man. We hear about like, why are we the only ones doing this, the only ones helping, the only ones going overseas, the only ones doing this while we and everybody else stuff or whatever. But to hear that Nigeria kind of helped out also when it came to saving this individual was a pretty good thing to hear.
Yeah, I was reading something saying that what normally happens is the Nigerians get these hostages, this one U.S. citizen, and then they eventually sell them to terrorists. Mm-hmm. And terrorists do what they want. So the SEALs wanted to get in there before any of those kind of transactions started to happen. Yeah. So good on the SEALs. Good on the SEALs for that.
Everybody who's involved, good deal.
Shout out to the SEALs, and that's good work. Good deal.
Yep.
We talked earlier about good news coming out the Naval Academy.
Yeah.
You know, it's some other news coming out the Naval Academy too, about a midshipman. Well, he's suing the Navy, the Naval Academy, because they're trying to expel him for racist tweets. Yeah. You know anything about that?
I tell you what, man, you have to be real careful right there, man. You got to be real careful because you got the Second Amendment and all that type of stuff, freedom of speech and all that. But also, you're in the military, and we expected to do things at a certain level. We expected to do things in accordance with and all this type of stuff, right? So, and my biggest thing from this, so for example, say nothing happens to this sailor goes in, this sailor does his thing, and he gets out of Naval Academy. Now he shows up to your command now, and believe it or not, every sailor know this story. Every sailor know that you went on there and said something about Brianna. You said she already got her justice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Things like that you say.
So that was when somebody tweeted they were waiting for Brianna to receive her justice because they was waiting for everything to come out from the hearing and stuff like that. And his response was she already got her justice the night that she was murdered.
Yes. And he also said something about the protesters at George Floyd thing. The protesters like, this would be over a lot sooner if they took care of the protesters, something to that effect, right? But my thing, what I'm getting at is now you have to go to a ship. But you don't think none of those sailors have read that before? The sailors you go stand up in front of and you gonna start leading. Yeah. You don't think they have looked at this? So my whole biggest take from it is how you gonna go lead these young sailors when they know your background.
Yeah, and that's why it's kind of not the best thing to do. Social media. Mm-hmm. About these kind of opinions.
Yes, because it goes with you, man.
Yeah, like people have these opinions, you know, and nobody could stop people from the way they think. But some of these opinions you need to keep to yourself because the forum that you'll be in later, you know, you might be a Devo, your chief might not agree, you know, with what you said. This the person that's initially supposed to be training you, setting you on the right path. Mm-hmm. You know, and your chief already know how you think about certain things. Yeah.
And that's my whole take on it, man, is that like we even though you at the academy, man, you still finna come in the Navy and be a leader from day one. You're standing up in front of the division in day one, right? So you held to a different standard. So we have to know that, man, and the academy have to hold this guy accountable for this. I mean, how they gonna do it? I don't know.
You think they got the right to expel him?
That's what I don't know, man. It's hard because of the Second Amendment, but I know it gotta be some policies out in the Navy that can hold him accountable for the stuff he said. And I'm talking about wherever he go, man. What if he go to a ship that this always gonna be coming up, man. It could be the commanding officer reading this stuff about you. It could be your department head. You know, you don't know. You know, what if your department head feel differently when you feel about this whole situation, but now you finna go work for him. He might think of you different now. You know what I mean? Regardless, people got feelings and people gonna think the way they think. So it's just a hard situation, man. It's a hard situation for him. It's a hard situation for the Navy, but I most definitely wouldn't post nothing like that on social media, man.
I mean, and that's part of why I think diversity training is essential. That's part of the reason why I think we can't do away with diversity training. I know what the president was saying about feeling like it was racist, stuff like that. I think that there is not the right way to look at it.
No.
Nobody's pushing an agenda. Like it's a dark history. That's like no pun intended, but it's a dark history with being certain races in America. We can't ever forget that stuff. You know, nobody's trying to establish hate or anything in any other people from any kind of race or anything like that when it comes to equality for women and stuff like that. But if we're going to be honest, we just announced 2 first black woman positions in this episode alone.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, the finish line, the goal line or whatever, it hasn't been the same for years. And that diversity training, it's never going to be effective if it's not training the people that needs to hear it. And it's people like this midshipman, I'm be honest, man. It's people like him that need to hear this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's people like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to understand how other people feel about this kind of stuff. The last thing I'm gonna say before I know I know you got some stuff to say, is I was talking to one of my young sailors and she was saying, "Hey, Chief, somebody said I don't see color," and somebody told this person that they were wrong for saying that, and she asked me, she's like, "What do you think about it?" She's like, "It's something I say every now and then, like I don't see color." I'm like, "I don't think that that's right. I believe you should see color." And that's what I mean about the training, because I think we don't understand these things. Like somebody might think that that's the right thing to say. Like, I don't see color. I know what it means. It means that you judge everybody on the same level. It don't matter what the color of their skin is. But people from different backgrounds, people from different heritages, they have different qualities that's special to their background and their heritage. Saying that you don't see color for most people of those background and heritages, it completely cancels out the background and the heritage of the person of that color. We all should still see color, and we should love and respect everybody's color for what it is. So that's how I feel about the whole I don't see color thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I believe that we should never stray away from things like diversity training.
Yeah, I mean, that was you said that perfectly, man. Like, in order to get where you going, man, you gotta know where you were from and what you didn't came through or whatever to get where you going, right? So most definitely, diversity training is one of those things that to put everybody on the same page and know what's going on with every culture or whatever the case may be. But one of the things about what didn't happen with the whole thing with when the president put out was they didn't stop the that naval task force.
Yeah, task
right.
force.
So that task force was identifying discriminations and things like that. So they was out. That's what they put a task force out to identify a lot of these things, which was coming more from the George Floyd thing too. I think it kind of stemmed from that. Where y'all at, Task Force One? Yeah, so Task Force One, holla at us, man. We trying to reach out, man. That diversity training, man. Like you said, man, everyone learns from that. It ain't just for like when we have a certain history or whatever, man. It's for everybody to learn, not just that specific race or whatever. And like I said before, man, like learning your background, learning your history, it helps everybody. Yeah. And that's what I don't think people understand, man, about it. Like, it's easy for someone to say, "Oh, yeah, don't worry about this. We don't want to do this no more." But why? Your reason then not to do this stuff is not the reason, right? And who did you talk to about it, right? Like, who you talk to about getting rid of this diversity training before you made the decision to get rid of it, because is that big, man. I feel like it's that big. And who was in the room? I like to be in that room to talk about why we getting rid of diversity training.
Yeah, I think, and I always think it's people that's just racially ignorant. Like, I don't even think it's people that's racist all the time. I think it's, I always think that, like, hey, these people, like when H&M did the whole coolest monkey in the jungle thing, I thought that was racially ignorant. Like, I never thought, like, hey, these people are totally intending to be like, but to put this shirt about a monkey on this black kid to be racist and to lose, you know, a lot of their customers. Like, this is what they want to do. I just think like they were racially ignorant. And that's another reason that we should not stop diversity training. But that's another reason why you probably need representation in every room, right? We doing a lot better about having representation like on TV and in movies. But if there's no black person in the room to be like, hey, like, don't put this monkey T-shirt on this black kid. Just put the tiger T-shirt on the black kid. Put the monkey T-shirt on the white kid. And I mean, we good to go right there. Or just don't use a monkey T-shirt or something. But when we don't have representation, again, you make those racially ignorant mistakes. Yeah,
and I agree with that totally, man. It not necessarily mean you racist, but you just making a dumbass move, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just silly, man.
And I think it's a lot of people like that. And they don't really understand like how different things affect different people or different races.
Yeah.
And they try to force, you know, this thing. And, you know, it's like you are affecting somebody of a race.
Yeah. I agree, man.
All right, man. So
I heard this thing, man, about, and I don't know how deep we want to go in this, man, but I do want to bring it up, man. This thing about which is kind of crazy to me, man. This Fat Leonard thing, man.
Fat Leonard,
man. Like man, I was reading an article, man. It wasn't a long article or anything like that, man. And I just wanted to briefly say, man, the reach that this guy had over there, man, was out of control. And I'm speaking on a little bit, man, because I was over there doing a lot of this time, man, and I heard this name before. Like, I have heard the name Fat Leonard before all this stuff came out.
Yeah.
So this ain't like the first time I'm hearing his name, but I didn't hear it in a bad light at the time, you know, what was going on. And I was a younger sailor at the time too, so I didn't know all the details to now, like on what this guy was doing and how he was doing it. But just thinking back, man, to make you open your eyes up now as you older and be like, man, what in the heck was going on over there during this time? We got a guy over there that's getting information from sailors. When I say sailors, I'm talking about at the highest level.
Yeah.
You know, and
they had a name for that group too. I don't know the name of it, but they had a name for like the group of people that was dealing with Fat Leonard.
Yeah. And think about this though, man, like the Navy itself, right? This is when a ship pull into anywhere, we talking about a lot of money, maybe sometime millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to pick up all the contracts of every ship that pulls into anywhere for these millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I'm going to take your contract.
Yeah. This a movie. This like a made for a movie.
Yes.
It's like a movie story, right?
Yes. Here. I'm going to take your contract every time. Right. When you go somewhere, when you pull in, I got you though.
Yeah.
Anything you want, I got you.
So let's rewind for a second, right? Mm-hmm. What brought this whole Fat Leonard story back into the light was a chief, right? Was a chief who just got locked up.
Yes.
He was a first class at the time, Brooke Alonzo Parks.
Yes.
He 27 months. He owed over $25,000 that he's ordered to pay in restitution for connection with his guilty plea. But there was bribery going on. And a lot of stuff like that from him. Did you read the story about where he was like requesting a hotel room at like a real Ritz. Nice place? He said
called Ritz, man.
He said he had a nice lady that he was gonna spend the night with, and he's like, man, it felt good to live like a king on an E6 budget.
Yeah, man, wasn't that crazy, man? Then he said some stuff like, what you need? Tell the boss man. let the boss man know what you guys need. I mean, what?
So
And he was signing. He was a logistic rate. So he was giving. I mean, he was
Getting it
signing
in, man.
He was signing off on a lot of stuff, man.
getting it in. So Fat Leonard, Leonard Glenn Francis, Singapore-based ship husbanding company, right? And they the people that, you know, we pull into the pier. They kind of provide they provide pier services and stuff like that. Glenn Defense Marine Asia. It says he obtained classified military information and gained an edge over his competitors.
Yep. So man, think about millions of dollars. That's what we do over there. We always pull it into these ports over there and stuff. So every time we pull it in these ports, this guy was getting the contract.
He was getting them in,
every time, man. Oh my goodness. Just to think back on that, man. Like, that is crazy, man.
That's like a gangster. That's like a gangster move, man. Living good. Big dude too. Big fat.
Yeah,
you know,
fat like 350, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, just to think about that alone, man, you're right, man. That's a movie right there, man. That's a movie.
And I mean, we see it like, you know, these different piers, and we see, you know, different things happen there. He was getting intel before ships came in about like different casualties and a whole bunch of other stuff, wasn't he?
Yeah, man, he was getting all the information, man. Like when I say he was getting all the services, man, all the services. If you had broken equipment, you had whatever, he was getting that business. He know exactly what's wrong with the ship. He know exactly where it's going, when it's pulling in there. And when you think about the terrorists and all that type of stuff, think about all that stuff, man. Like when a ship goes somewhere, you think he the only one know? He can like tell somebody else that information, man. Somebody could be waiting on a pier. And when you think back on how dangerous that's dangerous, man. On how dangerous, letting everyone know the ship's schedule, you know, where we doing operations at.
And these were leaders.
Leaders.
Giving them this information. Leaders.
Even I'm not mistaken, man, I could be wrong. You guys, anybody want to hit me up and say I'm wrong here? I think a couple of them was admirals. I think it was some admirals was involved in this stuff, man.
That's dirty and dangerous, man.
You know what I mean? That's at the highest level right there, man. I could be wrong. I mean, please let me know, you know, but I think they was at the highest level up there, man.
And this ain't the first case of bribery in the military, Navy either.
Yeah. I mean, I know some people do some wild shit out there. I mean, I know this story this guy was telling me about, this story that happened on one of his commands, man. They was doing a pre-com ship or whatever, right? And they had these cats that was they had televisions, because you know when you get that first ship, man, they want to put these TVs in all these places or whatever on the ship, you know, kind of like ship morale type stuff, you know what I mean? So if they want to watch TV, you know, after working hours or play video games and all that type of stuff, but the ship was buying these televisions, like say they bought, well, the ship only need 100 TVs, and say they done bought like 300 or 400 TVs, and they pretty much, some of them selling them out of their garage and shit, man.
That's crazy, man.
Selling these TVs, man.
We had a LS when I was at the Navy. Like, well, I don't remember the rate of the seller, but when I was at the Navy Academy, we had a seller who was buying music instruments and getting them sent to her house. And these are like,
what kind of, how can you say to do that?
She had the information to get them, and these were like the you know, really expensive things. You know, I remember one time you giving out like Oakleys, man, just to people, like, hey, take these Oakleys. Nobody knew, like, man, she got grand pianos back at the house,
goodness, man.
But yeah, so we had a case like that. But people do it a lot. I had somebody tell me about somebody that was taking like ghee dunk, which are snacks for the civilians, but like ghee dunk machines, and back to their house and their place of work and stuff like that. So those things happen a lot on a smaller scale than the Fat Leonard thing.
Yeah, man, that's wild, man. I just read that story, man, about the whole Fat Leonard thing, man. I was kind of taken back a little bit. About like, how can you get away with that on that level for so long, man? Like, for so long, how can you get away with that stuff? And when you know someone knows, you know, someone knows about it, and once they start investigation, you know.
So you saw what happened, right? did you see like it was a whistleblower, like an officer, I forgot his rank, I think like a LT, a lieutenant commander or something like that, but the dude kind of like saw that it was happening, like, hey, this going on, and try to blow the whistle. I think they try to deflect it once.
Oh yeah. So speaking of that, he had somebody that was in there that was pretty much shooting it down. As this person was talking about it, they said they had a guy that was there deflecting it.
That's crazy.
So as the information come in, they was deflecting it.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of like was one of the reasons why it kept going for so long too, because he had inside people, man. He had people in the inside, man, shooting it down.
It was all made up the way it should have been. He died, right? Did he die?
I don't know if he died or not.
He got sick.
But I know he got sick.
Yeah.
I know he got sick, but I don't know if he died or not.
Yeah, he got sick. I don't know if he died. I think he passed away, but somebody will tell us if he's dead or not.
Yeah, most definitely.
So you got a couple things you wanted to ask me?
Well, one of the things I wanted to ask you, like, when did you find out? Like, when did it click for you that the Navy is for you, and this was something that you wanted to do?
As I started succeeding in it.
As you started succeeding, as you started advancing and started succeeding and started getting comfortable, doing the things you do.
Yeah, as I started succeeding, because it wasn't like I didn't know the Navy was. Some people join already kind of with that in their eyes, and like that wasn't me.
Yeah,
I joined for other reasons, but while I was as I started seeing success and seeing how easy it was, and I repeat, like we had these hard times, there's stress, there's different things. This is an easy job.
Yeah.
So as I started seeing how easy it was, I started realizing that I could compete here. I could do well here. I could perform here, and this is it. You know what I'm saying? This is an inspection. This is, what goes into this. It was really easy. My granddad, who I just talked to earlier today, he used to always say, like, half the job is just showing up. Half the job is just showing up. You're already good. You already got it. So I think that for me, I just realized it was for me then when the performance started to show. And, I always go new places. Yeah. And I'm performing. We talked about evals already too, but I always go new places and I'm performing 100 miles an hour, right? 100 miles, 120 miles an hour. And I'm getting like those first couple evals and I'm like, hey, these evals are not reflective of
what I do,
what I'm doing. Like, why? And I still think that, like, man, I get to the point where I'm like, I'm working exceptional. Like, I don't care about the politics of evals. I'm working exceptional. I should get the eval I deserve no matter what, but it comes eventually. It always comes eventually, but it don't happen then. But I think that's when I realized it was for me after some time. Was it the same for you?
Well, I think for me, kind of the same way. But I think it kind of came out for me when I found out I wasn't just a damage controlman. Mm-hmm. Right. I think that's where.
When did you find that out though? You was like an E6?
Yeah, when I was a first class.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Same for me.
Because when I came in, it was more like, man, I lived and breathed damage control. Man, I almost get in a fight with somebody talking about damage control, man.
Yeah, and for everybody, while Damon talking, for everybody that, hey, y'all always talk about engineers. Y'all always talk about the engineers. We're engineers, you know what I'm saying? and we don't intend to always talk about, engineers. Hopefully we are talking to some people that, that's affected by some of the same stuff that we're affected by, but just us happening to be engineers, a lot of our experiences are coming from the fact that we are engineers, but we got a surprise for you next week.
Yeah, most definitely. So yeah, man. So when I found out, man, like I can do more, and I can spread more of my leadership style to other people. I think that's when I kind of found out that I can do this, man, and I can excel at it, because I always, talk damage control and did all these things. And I had a thing I always talk about is no one outworks me. It's a lot of people smarter than me. Yeah. But outworking me is a whole different level. Like I feel like you got to put in some work to outwork me or stuff like that. So But when I started talking to sailors and started getting feedback from sailors and sailors, and I go in this thing and people tell me stuff like, man, these sailors will run through a brick wall for you.
Yeah.
You know, and things like that. Then I start, okay, so people are listening to me. People are, you know, want to follow me. And then I think that's when I start excelling more than people want to follow me.
Yeah. So, yeah, same thing. The first half of my career was for me.
Yeah.
The second half of my career is for everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, even when I'm on a ship now, I'm going to a ship, I'm thinking about the EMC, the E division that's coming after my division. You know, when I'm talking to sailors, I'm all thinking about them. My driver, if my motivation to be in the Navy was still me right now, I wouldn't be in the Navy.
Yeah.
I'd be out of here, you know, but my motivation to be in the Navy is for the sailors that came from places like I came from, or came from anywhere, just coming in, learning and wanting to excel and being able to either be a mentor, be a trainer, or some type of inspiration to these young sailors that's trying to make their way in the world, whether they stay in the Navy or not. I'm even past convincing sailors to stay in the Navy.
Yeah.
You know, just on a human aspect, like we need to succeed. You know, these are the things I learned, you know, let's go. So first half of the Navy was all about me, my quals, things I wanted to do. I became a leader like you, and I make sure that the second half of my career is dedicated to the people that's going to be running the world when we
Most definitely
get out of here.
Our replacements is what they say. Our replacements, right? So we always talk about, you know, we try our best to fit in a policy, you know, every one of our episodes, you know, and today the physical fitness program, man. I'd like to know your take, man, what you think about the program, man, and where it's going
right now,
like where the program going. Do we even need to do the things we do with this program?
No, I don't think so. I think that like in order to prove that we could battle, in order to prove that we could survive, we got like DC training and drills, and we got things like we had coming out of boot camp, battle stations.
Yeah.
I don't like in no time of anything that we got going on in the Navy do I think like you're gonna just up and do push-ups for 2 minutes. Like if you know if the ship gets, if some pirates come on the ship or some terrorists come on the ship, like we're not about to just do 2 minutes of push-ups, our 2 minute plank. Like it's time for us to survive. I think our test should be based off of that. Maybe a swim test, yes. You know what I'm saying? That would be a challenge for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that would be a challenge for me. But I don't think that like what we doing, the mile and a half, even a mile and a half run. Yeah. You know, I don't think that any of that is geared toward Navy. I don't think we should do it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally. And I think both of us were CFLs before, which is command fitness leaders, at some point in time in our career, man. And I just, I know it's something that the Navy wants to do and how they want to do it for, you know, health wise and making sure sailors are healthy and things like that. Because it's more to it than just the run and stuff. They actually look at you medically and things like that too.
Yeah.
When they do the PHAs and all that type of stuff, things you do before you do that.
But can you be honest about that though? Like,
yeah, it's just a bunch of checkbox stuff. How
serious is that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that too. But hopefully when you're doing that stuff, you can identify some, and then a lot of times sailors won't even say anything anyway. They'll just be like, no, I'm good, and go out there and do their thing anyway. So I think it's for they try to identify things ahead of time, but it don't work like that all the time. Yeah,
because even like when they do like the PHA and they ask you like, how often do you drink?
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember doing a PHA in Annapolis. And it's like, you know, how often do you drink? And I'm seeing how often I drink. Then I'm seeing like if I give them this, you know, I don't got hair, nothing that's it. So I'm hitting them with the I don't got hair. One time I was real honest in the HM1. After I did the PHA, because it was electronic, I was really honest. It's like, how often you drink? At that time, I was drinking like every day, right? like 2 to 3 drinks a day. And the HM1, he's like, hey, EM2, can I talk to you in the back? He's like, can I talk to you in the back, man? But yeah, so back to the PFA point that you was talking about.
Yeah, man. So pretty much, man, like I think it's a waste of time, man. Like a waste of I'm not saying that we shouldn't do anything when it comes to physical fitness, but I don't think what we doing is tailored to anything we do in the Navy. Like, and I think sometimes it should be tailored towards that. If I was out there working with the Naval SEALs, I think Navy SEALs should have a different, physical fitness than we got. Yeah. Right. It should be tailored to what they do. And almost, if I'm not mistaken, like the Army, right? They got their rifles and they should have some stamina. You know what I mean? If they have to be in a battle with somebody or whatever. So whatever they do, I'm assuming it's tailored to what they doing. But us on a ship, I think the battle station thing that we did was kind of fitting to the things we do in the Navy. But like you're right, I'm finna go out here and I'm finna like what I'm doing on the ship. But we got a casualty, we got flooding, we got something, and what are those push-ups gonna do for me, man? Where's that plank gonna do? Everybody stop for 2 minutes. Yeah. How many push-ups can we knock out? That's not happening. It has nothing to do with nothing. Like if we was doing some kind of full body exercise or something, I may feel better about doing that, than to do just a set of push-ups. We should be prone floating. We should be swimming. These are things we should be doing, like things like that. Like, and then another thing, we always talk about that when priorities shift and when things change, the first thing we get rid of is training, and we talk that's like education, knowledge, rate training. But honestly, the first thing I see a lot of commands get rid of is PT. Man, let me tell you about this, man. I am a big fan of the PT though. Right. Command PT? Of command PT. Right. Because I think it's a camaraderie thing. I think when people get together, if you got a good PT program and you got good workouts and you got stuff like that, it could be good. Because I think sometimes those workouts is more than just push-ups. The work I used to do back in my time was more than just push-ups. Too many rules, man. You got the trapper keeper, you got the book. A lot of stuff going on. But who follows it though? That goes back to all these programs we have, man. Like no one follows the program. Like it is said in here, right? Like doing working hours, you have to PT this many times, 150 minutes or whatever it is now. I think it's the same thing, 150 minutes or 3 times a week or something like that, right? You have to give sailors the opportunity to do this. Yeah. So, and it's between work and it's during the working hour. Yeah, during. Who does that? Nobody. Right? I don't think no one does. Maybe some shore duties probably. Yeah, shore duties do a lot of things right. Yeah, most definitely not no sea duty. You are not giving people time to go work out doing sea duty. And we tried it for a while. I think it's a good idea. I think we tried it for a while. But if in our rate on the ship, if I give you from 14 to 15 to go work out, but your whole thought process is if I go at 14, I get done at 15. That's it. Yeah. Right. You ain't coming back. But at the time, on a sea duty, you gotta come back. You trying to get stuff done. Yeah, it's always a good idea. The junior sailors, so the leaders like chiefs don't want to go. No. Right. Junior sailors don't want to go. Nope. They would rather work. They would rather work and leave work. And then there's some people that have workout regimens like outside of work that'd rather do that. Yeah. I remember submitting chits on shore duty to not go to command PT so I could PT on my own. And that was when I lost 90 pounds. Yeah. I did that from the chit that I had that, hey, I'm on a certain workout regimen. And I believe if we did it on that scale too, where it's like, all right, well, because we don't want to let people leave work to go work out. Like, oh, hey, chief, I'm gonna leave work on my own to go work. We on a full scale Navy, we not really doing that. Like, yeah, go ahead, take 90 minutes and go work out on your own. It's all about work, man. So you are right. So my last take on it before we move on is man, is like when it comes to the PT, I think if you are fit and you fit the standard, if you can do everything, you ain't got no failures, you ain't got anything, you fit the standards, you're good to go. That means you're doing the right things to pass this standard. If you can't pass the standard, I think command PT should be coming in effect. They got a program they call FEP program for that, right? So instead of having command, whatever, just have a FEP program only. Yeah. So if someone can't meet the standard, we'll help them out and make sure they can meet the standard. But if you can meet the standard, you good to go.
On top of that, I think we should take the most passionate sellers about other sellers losing weight and health and put them in the positions to do what they want to do. Like, take away, as long as it's within the guidelines of what we're allowed to do, take away some of the things that we don't let them do. Like, you know, we have 1 million ACFLs, and like out of like, let's say you got 20 ACFLs, 6 of these ACFLs are probably people that really care, like really want people to lose weight, whatever.
Yep.
Some of the other ones might have it as a collateral duty and care a little bit. And then the CFL just might have it as a collateral duty. Some CFLs don't, but this CFL might just have it as a collateral duty. Take those 6 ACFLs that really, really care. Let them run the show. From based off my experience, it'd be better. When I lost the 90 pounds and became an ACFL, I wanted to see everybody else lose 30 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds. I was dedicated to that. At that command, we had a lot of PFA failures. It was a short duty command. Yeah. We had a lot of PRT failures. I became a ACFL, and I cared about the people that was on FEP with me. I cared, you know? And that's one of the things we kill the people that care the most a lot. In any organization, establishment, whatever, we kill the people that actually care what yellow tape, red tape, just different things that they can and can't do. We need to look at the reality of what, you know, you can and can't do, and kind of start tailoring what we do based off of the reality of what you can and can't do.
Yeah, I agree, man. With all that stuff, man, a lot of stuff in that program itself is just a lot of noise, man. Like, it ain't helping nobody, you know, at the end of the day.
It was like workouts like that's bad for your back, and I get like we got like, I guess it's like we worried about lawsuits, but it was like workouts that I did that helped me see progress that I couldn't have other people do because it was bad for their back. It's in a book, it's restricted, like it's a whole lot. We need some professionals. We need some people to come. Again, another program that we need professionals to come in and show us the ropes and give us better insight. And if we are having that, then we need those results to kind of come out and us to see them again.
Yeah. Again, the only thing to become a CFL, you got a lot of it tells you some administration things. And as long as you can run that, mile and a half, do that many push-ups, do that many curl-ups, you good to go.
You can't smoke?
And I won't say you can't smoke. I don't say you can't smoke, and you have to be able to run it. I know they got all these other alternates. You got to run it too, though.
Yeah, you got it. So what's your every week we've been doing books and we've been doing movies.
Yeah.
What's your book of the week?
So my book of the week, big shout out to Alana Abernathy, one of the lieutenant commanders used to be on our ship.
Alana Abernathy.
Yeah.
I just want to,
clarify that name.
Yeah, because you got an accent. I want everybody to know that too. We got accents over here. I got a Philly accent.
I'm straight out of Mississippi. You already know what time it is.
Straight out of Mississippi, baby. So Alana Abernathy.
Yeah. So she gave me this book. It's called Building a Story Brand, right? It's written by Donald Miller. So it's a good book, man. And to me, the book is where I'm trying to go, right? So having a business, having a branding something, so I can excel in one day. And it's talking about building your page, like say you building a website or whatever page, and how you get rid of all the little noise in your page. And it talks about like, ain't nobody reading a book on your page, right? Most of the people who log on and look at your page or look at anything you got going on, they scan it, right? So it's telling you on how to get rid of all that stuff and kind of like hit your customers. It's all about your customers.
Yeah.
So you're trying to want to hit them quickly, and they don't want to scan all this stuff going through that. So you have like whatever point you're trying. If you want to be a painter, right? You get right to the point, right? I'll beautify whatever you doing, whatever you painting. It gets straight to the point with everything. Then you have your selling points in there. Then you have your wherever, if you're gonna buy, you put in like 2 different spots on there and have it a different color from everything else. So that's what they see, because the only thing they're doing is scanning through stuff. And then it talks about having all these generators, like email generators that to send your stuff out, and somebody reads your email, and then it has on there where you giving away something free, like how to make a drink every month. right? How to be a mix and how you mix this drink every month, right? You get that to them free, so they might click on your email and get your product because they want to do this every month, you know. And it just talks about so many different ways to build your brand on what you're doing. And then it even go even further about talking about your employees. If you had employees, how you would treat them, and a lot of times people have these employees, but you say HR, right? So HR go in there and they'll pretty much give you a pamphlet, and they'll tell you to read some stuff here and read some stuff. Then they'll send you back to your desk, right? They don't talk about the purpose of what you're doing. They don't talk about if you stay here this long, this is where you can go. This is what you can become. None of that stuff. So it talks about, you know, having a good presentation for your employees. It's all about the customer. It's not about you. A lot of stuff like that, man. That I think it was fascinating to read, man. And then a lot of the stuff you can do with websites and a lot of stuff you can do online to help you. Which is another thing that I looked at, which I'm still looking at right now. I'm not even quite done. I'm like on chapter 12 of the book right now. So it's a lot of stuff there, man. I love it. You know what I mean? So maybe you have more to come when I get done with it.
Okay.
What you got?
Speaking of Miss Abernathy first, she has a book coming out. I pre-ordered it, and I'm getting like some cool stuff. I read a really good poem from the website. They gave me like a poem to hold over for the book she got coming out. Mm-hmm. Some good stuff. It's a really good poem. It was about shadows. It was a really excellent poem. So I'm looking forward to that book, and I'm looking forward to letting everybody know about that book as well. The book I got for this week is Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter by 50 Cent.
Okay.
And I did the audio book, so I was able to listen to 50 Cent talk about this. So a lot of the books I do are audio books, and I like it when the person that wrote the book or the person that the book is about actually narrates the book. For instance, Rick Ross had an audio book called Hurricanes that would have been, it's a good book, really good book, but it would have been perfect if if Ross was the one that was narrating it. Instead, he had another dude narrate it that his voice wasn't as rich as Rick Ross. But the 50 Cent book is good. Not much to say about it except for he goes through everything that we lived through. So, you know, me being a young guy from Philly, close to the story of 50 Cent when 50 came out in 2003, watching what happened with the vitamin water, watching some of the movies he made with G-Unit, some of the movies he made with Shady, a lot of those deals. 50 giving a lot of the background inspiration behind those deals and the things that he think about. Times he might have went somewhere with Floyd Mayweather. He talk about his son. It's a real good story in there about his son. How I think his son is and it's the son that, you know, 50 don't have the best relationship with. Yeah. But it's a good story in there about his son, and I learned a lot from that. 50. He provided a business. I really don't want to mess this up because it's 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? I want no smoke with 50. But he provided like a way for his son to be able to create a business and selling sneakers online. And I don't think his son saw the long game. I think he wanted money. He just, you know, so I don't think he saw the long game and what 50 was creating for him. I learned a lot from that because right now, sneakers online is a big thing.
Yep.
Well, you got gold, you got StockX, like that's things that's happening. And for 50 to have that foresight, and a lot of times, you know, people might have that foresight, and you got to be able to have it with them. Yeah. You know, and being a creative or just somebody that's revolutionary or whatever you're doing. And if you know that person solidified in that, like at this point, we could say 50 is solidified in business and being able to see something maybe before it happens.
Yeah.
From on TV now, and he already did it with music. I might just, if 50 Cent threw me an idea, you know, even if it fell later on, I might run with that idea. You know, I might, in hindsight, might be like, damn, this fell. But in the initial, this 50 saying this, like, I'm gonna go ahead and run with it. This dude has made some smart business moves. So the book was about a lot of the business moves he made, the reasons behind them, and just giving you different rules to life. Like he was talking about health. He talked about diet. He talked about working out. He talked about appearance. It's a really good book. Everybody should read it.
Yeah.
You know, and I say that about mostly every book I read, because that's I'm not reading books that I don't think everybody should read.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Sounds like a good book. Sounds real good. So what's going on with this the movie, man? We had a movie for the week, man, is The Lone Survivor.
Yeah, another thing we got to talk about with a certain regard, because there's another group of people that we don't want smoke with. Well, I'm gonna speak for myself.
Yeah,
I don't want smoke with none of these guys.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Me either, man. Real good book. I mean, real good movie though. I kind of liked it. It was one of those movies that make your hair stand up on your arms, man. Especially the ending, man, on how that stuff played out. So you want to talk about the movie real quick on the whole
brass tacks?
Yeah.
Lone Survivor, directed and adapted for the screen by Peter Berg, and then it came out in 2013 on Christmas. Mark Wahlberg, he played Marcus Luttrell. Emil Hirsch, Danny Dietz, Ben Foster played as Matthew Axelson, and Taylor Keish played as Lieutenant Michael Murphy. Now, Marcus Luttrell won a Navy Cross, a Purple Heart. He was he retired a first class in 2007 after 8 years of service. Danny Dietz, deceased, won a Navy Cross, Purple Heart. He was 25. Matthew Axelson, deceased, Navy Cross. He was 29 at the time. And Lieutenant Michael Murphy, who we have a ship named after, won a Medal of Honor and a Purple Heart at 29. And the movie takes, the incident, the Operation Red Wings, happened in Kunar, Afghanistan in 2005. And the movie is pretty much about an unsuccessful counterinsurgent mission called Operation Red Wings, where it was a 4-man SEAL reconnaissance team, and they were given a task of tracking down Taliban leader Ahmad Shah. So that was what it was about. Things went left, and it got crazy. Yeah, man.
A couple things I kind of like pointed out in the movie and what I thought about it when I was looking at it. One was they never stopped fighting.
Yeah.
Right. Everything that was going on, it was way more of them, the Taliban, than it was SEALs, but they never stopped. They always thought they can win. To the end, they thought when it was only 2 of them left, they was thinking they can win.
Yeah.
And that kind of really stood out to me. And the other thing that really stood out to me is that even though they was in a place like Afghanistan, and you got all these the Taliban and all these people that are like really, really bad people, it's still some good people in the world.
Yeah.
And this group that helped them out, man, that helped him out in the movie, because that's what they believed in. That's what they believed in. If I take you in, I'm gonna take care of you. Mm-hmm. Ain't nobody else gonna come in here and take you. Ain't nobody. And they really put their life on the line for that. And there was a couple of things like really, really like stood out for me. They willed to win, man.
Yeah.
At all costs. Their life did not mean, like Michael Murphy, man. Like his life was not as big as trying to save his people.
Yeah.
He knew he was gonna die. He knew wasn't no coming off that top of that mountain when he tried to get up there, and that itself is like powerful, man. Like me, if I'm going somewhere and I know it's no coming back for my family, man, that's hard. He knew when he went up that hill, it wasn't no coming back. So to take that stand, man, is a powerful. So for me, just the end of that movie, man, and the end of on what was going on, the chilling factor. Then they showed the real the guys at the end of it was a powerful too, man. So, and then also I don't want no smoke with the SEALs, man. So I have to get those guys like for this movie, man, a 4, man.
So for me, the scene that hit me the hardest was 2 scenes. The first one was Emil Hirsch. He played Danny. He started like when he realized he lost his fingers and he was going through like kind of like a state of shock.
Yeah.
And he was like, damn, like they're faster than us.
Yeah.
These guys were faster than us. That messed me up right there. That hit me hard. The other part that kind of hit me hard was when they shot the plane down. But my favorite character in this movie was Ben Foster. I like Ben Foster, right? And I usually like all of Ben Foster's movies since Alpha Dog. But he had the most kills. Like he was killing them. But
Which one was Ben Foster?
The one who said, you gonna die for your country, I'ma live for mine. His eye was messed up, his foot was messed up. He's still shooting, killing them, like taking them down. Like Ben Foster definitely had, the most kills. Now, I'm not gonna give the movie a 5, right? I do want to say this. Mark Wahlberg is always Mark Wahlberg. Like it's always Marky Mark. Like it's always Mark Wahlberg in every movie. Like, Michael Murphy. That was Taylor Quiche. But Mark Wahlberg's character, Mark Luttrell, it was Mark Wahlberg. So if Mark Luttrell acts like Mark Wahlberg, then it was spot on. But like Mark Wahlberg is always Mark Wahlberg, which it's not a bad thing. Whenever I watch a Mark Wahlberg movie, that's kind of what I want to see is Mark Wahlberg.
You do act the same way.
You ain't got to be like nobody else. You know what I'm saying? But all of the acting was spot on, man. It was good guys doing it. Emal Hirsch is another actor that I really like. I wish he did more. Ben Foster, I really like Ben Foster. Like I said, everything that he does is top notch for me. Mark Wahlberg is Mark Wahlberg. I mean, how do you hate this guy? You know what I'm saying? And Taylor Quiche, lower kind of like in comparison to them for me. I think he did Battleship. After that, like he's not one of my favorite actors, but he did great as Michael Murphy. I would get a movie I said I don't do halves, but I'm gonna go ahead. I'll get a movie a 3.5 out of 5. I think it could have been more in the story than it was, but a lot of this is dramatization. Like you don't know what these guys said to each other when they were out there outside of whatever Mark wrote in the book that they adapted the movie from, which again, the 3.5 does not mean that it's a bad movie at all. It just was some stuff that I wanted more of from the movie. But great movie, great action sequences. I thought you had Jerry Ferrera in the movie. We had Eric Bana was in that movie. There's a lot of like other supplementary characters too. I think some of the story just upset me with the way it went, but that was a real life scenario as well, where the planes like left at a certain time. They wasn't there when they needed them to be there. Some communication errors and stuff like that. But overall, good movie, definitely entertaining, definitely worth watching. 3.5 out of 5. Damon got it at a 4, so that brings us up to like a 3.73.
Yeah.
So 3.73.
And one more thing too, though. I was thinking about it afterwards, though, watching the movie and Mark Wahlberg character, man. That's got to be hard too, right? Yeah. Because when you watching the movie, you think about what happened in the movie, the fact that he was big part of the decision that was made not to take out that little family.
Yeah.
And then that end up was the move that cost them their life.
Yep.
That had to be big, and I know he's still alive, and he had to. I know that's something he has to think about as a human.
Yeah.
You have to think about something like that, man, because I don't think a lot of that stuff would have happened if they would have took him out, though.
Yeah, he retired 2 years after that.
Yeah, and every character in there besides Michael Murphy wanted to take him out.
Yeah.
Like they really wanted to, man. So
what would you have done?
I don't know, man. I think I would
have tied him up.
Yeah.
I'd have tied him up.
I would have tied him up too. That probably, I most definitely wouldn't agree probably with killing him though. I mean, I don't think that's like they say it, like Mark Wahlberg said in the movie though. That's just not American.
Yeah.
It's taking him out in the back and shoot him in the head. This is not nothing we're gonna do. I don't think that it would have been an option.
I'd have tied him up, or they would have had to travel with us, even though we SEALs. I don't know how that would have worked out. And then when we got our rescue, them released them or something like that. But I wasn't killing them, and I wasn't sending them back.
I may have took him up a little bit higher.
Yeah, you
and
see the
tied him
dude.
up.
You see how the
Yeah.
dude was running, like the young. He was going to spread
Yeah.
that news, man.
Yeah, time he got down, ain't no way he wouldn't have got tied up though.
Yeah, and then I think we have to. That the reason why I named the awards that these guys got is because that has to be said. Like these were real people. These are real life superheroes, man. These are real men. These things really happen, man.
Yeah,
you know, these guys really got hit with those bullets. Really jumped down those mountains. Like that's incredible, man.
Man, and still moving. Still thought they could win.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I mean,
that's incredible, man.
Crazy, man.
So
But
real Americans, real heroes, real military members. Nothing could be more inspirational than seeing that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree, man. Well, man, that's pretty much it for us, man.
Yeah.
We gotta. Hey, next week is a big week for us, man. We gonna have a first guest.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I can't wait, man. I cannot wait to get that kicked off, man. So
yeah. So permission to speak freely. Every podcast platform, PTFS podcast. Every social media platform, PTSF merch for merchandise. There's gonna be new merchandise pretty often, so stay tuned. Thanks for listening to another episode of Permission to Speak Freely. We hope you enjoyed it. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you. I'm Damo.
And I'm Damon.
And this was Permission to Speak Freely.
Pay attention.